All righty. I think we're good.
Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's up?
Are we
Ain't about
on?
everything. We not on IG at all.
I feel like there's a delay. Now we should be.
You my Janica. You my everything.
No. Don't you know on last show you said stop listening to Sexy
Yeah.
Red? You
Hold on.
absolutely said
What's up?
We go together.
you said stop listening to Sexy Red.
Cause that shit is terrible.
And everybody out here was a witness that Jay said stop listening to Sexy Red last week. And now he's singing Sexy Red. So we're gonna need to get it together, sir. Okay, are we good everywhere? So I'm about to officially start. Officially.
Yeah, we Gucci.
Turn the game up, y'all. Okay, tonight's Tournament of the Champions, and I think Jay got the game on
I
while
was
the show.
checking. I was checking YouTube, big head.
Okay.
The TV over there.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. And maybe you can do two things at once, unlike me. Because if I could, I would definitely have the game on while the show is going on. But I unfortunately can't. Anyway, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Tip for Tat podcast. I'm Carol and I'm one of your hosts.
I'm Jay Boy and I'm the tip for tat, and we go tip for tat all day long. I got my homegirl Tiffany, I got my homeboy Eddie, and look, we go tip for tat, baby. Let's go! Oh, oh.
That was good. All right. As you guys can see, I got my UK stuff on representing because we play puke tonight. So go Cats. Let's motherfucking go Kentucky. Okay.
He said puke. I love it. I love it.
Not
Puke.
puke. Puke
It's
University.
puke. So we're gonna definitely get into this serious discussion. But if we end a little early, we end a little early because definitely want to catch that game if we can. I'm just saying.
Carolyn ain't playing, yo.
I'm really not, y'all. I'm really not. Basketball season is upon us. I am so excited.
She's like, fuck black love. Let's watch this game.
No. We definitely now ain't the time for fuck black love, okay? But I definitely want to shout out University of Kentucky. Let's go, Cats. Let's get this dub over puke tonight. Okay, anyway, without further ado, tonight's topic: why black men and women need each other. And I would go a step further and say why we need each other now, maybe more than we ever have, because who child, we are in such a position, I would say, as a community, as a people. And I just really think that now is the time for us to come together. I was speaking with someone earlier, and y'all know I can be angry at the black men often, okay? Don't look at me like that. But honestly, like, I just feel like now is not the time. Like, whatever grievances we have with each other, we need to be focusing on coming together and making sure we're good and we're continuing to move the culture forward. Because the youth ain't it. Okay? They don't have us. I'm just telling y'all that now, sadly. And honestly, a lot of that is on us. Let's just be real about it. A lot of that is on us. A lot of us are not, doing our jobs as parents the way we need to. And then, we as a people are not necessarily prioritizing and promoting healthy relationships. And I think that those are things that are really important. So when we talk about why we need each other so much, those are some of the reasons. But I know Jay wanted to dig into a little bit why do so many black women are feeling unsupported by black men, or why do you feel like black men that don't support black women, why don't they support them?
This topic came really, I think, really, and I truly believe this will be a part two of this conversation. But This came about with the election, obviously, and I'm gonna keep it a buck, right? I'm the guy, in all seriousness, who straight up, I voted for Barack Obama because he's black. I didn't care about his politics. I didn't really care. Not that I didn't care, but for me, it was a no-brainer. I voted for him because he's black. I voted for Kamala because she's black. Like it's a no-brainer for me, right? Like I can. It just makes sense to me. Not only that, everybody else does the same thing. They vote for theirs. Why can't I vote for mine? Now, is that a solid reason to vote for a black woman? Or you know what I mean? Because she's black? I don't know. Right? I've been grappling with that. I've had people tell me, well, it's important to understand the politics, is understand issues where they stand, et cetera, et cetera. And then I've spoken to black men and black women. Interesting enough, that said, that they were on the fence about vote for Kamala, and that I'm not gonna say it didn't piss me off,
But why would they say? What were some of their reasons for being on the fence about voting for her?
well, one, they didn't really know her, right? They didn't really understand what she stood on the issues. And one of the things that I'm hearing a lot more coming from people who are that are becoming a little bit more political, especially the young folks, is that saying that I'm not Donald Trump is not enough, right? That's not a differentiator, or that's not enough of a differentiator for me to vote for you. What people are saying now is that they need to know, what are you going to do specifically to fix my situation? Now, I've always said this ever since I got on this podcast, and I've been saying this for a long time. We live in a very selfish society. And with that said, everything is about me, 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 me. And that's not a black or white thing. That's an everybody thing. We live in a very selfish society where it is important for me to know, how is my life going to be better than it was yesterday? And how are you going to help me do that? And so some of the things that we're hearing was just the fact that they weren't sure. Yeah, she'd say, she do such and such with taxes for us. Well, how are you going to do that? And some people felt like that was never explained. Like a lot of people felt like she had, solutions for problems, but they never understood, well, how are you going to implement these things, right? For Donald Trump, it's easy. We have an immigration problem. We're going to put up a wall. 1 + 1 = 2. That sort of messaging is easily digestible from people who may not have a high school diploma to anybody who may have a PhD. Right? He mastered the art. And so one of the things that I grapple with, and I'm gonna land this plane, is being able to. I was very, very angry, especially with my own people. But I had to think about this, and I wanted to bring this to you guys. Is it possible to vote? Let me start over. Is it possible for issues to be mutually exclusive from values, morals, and character?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No, I think when you're making decisions about issues, that it's coming from values, morals, and character. And if you don't have any,
everything.
Say that again.
I say your character means everything. Your character is what shows up when people don't see you behind closed doors.
Right.
But so I'm gonna challenge us, and this is again, I'm the guy who's gonna vote for you for just because you black. So I'm not kind of counting myself for this, but I may or may not be part of the problem. But I'm gonna challenge you all. Can a racist come up with good ideas on how to fix a nation? Can a racist say, you know what? I'm gonna do blah 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 with how does being a racist or being divisive prevent you from solving issues and problems that are in America?
Because if you dislike or think that you're above another race of people, then you're never going to be concerned with their interests. And if you're a leader of the United States of America, which is made up of all kinds of people, then you should be your true, what you're doing, your service should be to the people of the United States. That's everyone. That's not just one race. And not to go on the race path, and to stay on as far as us being together is concerned, because I want to go back to some things that you said, and I definitely want to touch on some comments in the chat. So I want you to take a look at the comments in the chat too. Because I agree with you. The main reason why I voted for Barack Obama was because he was Black. Now, I liked him. I liked his policies or whatever. That's true. But I was going to vote for him regardless. Because I think that as a Black person, you're going to have your people's best interests at heart. Are you going to, especially as a Black person in America, you already come into a position like that knowing that we have not been prioritized, that the laws have not been in our favor, that we are constantly trying to fight and scratch our way into positions and places that we deserve to be in, despite the fact that we've been set back for so many years. So yeah, you're going to do all you can when you get in there to make sure that the playing field is a little bit more even, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't mean you don't care about other races. That means that you know that shit ain't fair right now, and I'm going to do my best to make it fair for everybody, in my opinion. And that also ties into your character, as Tiffany was saying. So if you have poor character, like Donald Trump does, his interests are not, he's not concerned about leveling the playing field. In fact, let's just call a spade a spade. In my opinion, he's about promoting white supremacy, and that's why he won the election. So now, that also ties into why I think it's important for us as Black men and Black women to bond together now more than ever. And yes, Cool Dad's made a comment in the chat that said it's sad that it takes Donald Trump getting elected in order for us to come together. I do agree with that. But the fact of the matter is he has been elected, and it is very vital that we come together at this point.
Have we come together? Because I can venture out to tell you right now that I think we're even more separated. Black women have announced on different platforms, we done. We looking out after us now.
Say that one more time.
Black women have gone out and announced out loud, we done. We're looking out after ourselves now.
Yeah, I see a lot of that, and that's unfortunate. And I get what you're saying, but as a Black woman, that's really just us saying we sick of this shit. But at the end of the day, we're going to have your back. I promise you that.
So if a Black man didn't vote for Kamala because he felt as though her issues or the solutions to the issues weren't really clear, this, that, and the third, is that not being supportive?
Well, the thing is, right, 80% of Black men voted for Kamala, right? I don't care about 20%, but between the men, the Black men and the Black women, they did what they came to do. 80% of Black men were there supporting her. So, I think, I was part of the Win with Black Women group movement. And when all that was happening, there was, Win with Black Men. So we thought we had a good momentum going on. But, there was a disconnect there. There was a disconnect somewhere along the lines. And we needed more people to come out and vote. There were lots of people that didn't even vote. 10 million.
Yeah, and I agree. I think you're seeing a lot on social media. The Black men get a bad rap as far as the support for her in the election. And I think that's just another thing that's making Black women feel like that's why they're done. It's not just everybody else. I feel like a lot of Black women may be feeling like, we were let down by Black men who didn't vote. I mean, because we can all sit up here and try to, like, in my mind, I cannot rationalize for 1 second why we, as in all Black people, didn't vote for her. Because whether you understand her policies are clear or not, at the end of the day, why wouldn't you support one of your own, just like they do, which is why we're in this position in the first place? Because everything is about division with us instead of coming together. And that's what we have to stop doing. And I can say that because I am the main one that's always pissed off at Black men for a number of reasons. Like, but I, like, now I'm just like, okay, so I had to like pray and talk to God. And now it's like every Black man I see is my brother. And I will help you in any way, shape, or form that I can. And we need to be looking at each other like brother and sister. We really do. And being a friend and being supportive. And if it leads to something romantic along the way, then that's fine. But like, let's get back to being friends and like just loving on each other and supporting each other, because otherwise we're going to go backwards. And that's the sad part about it. Why are people who are so strong, so smart, so resilient, set all the trends, all the best athletes, like we're the best in everything, I don't understand why we cannot come together and just be great together. I don't understand that.
Well,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Eddie. You about to say something?
I was gonna say that this is just from my backyard, out here in Georgia, man. I'm around a lot of Black men that are successful on paper, and they don't. I don't want to say proud, but they'll vocalize that they don't date Black women. And I've even asked, like, yo, you have mommy issues? Like, talk to me, bro. Like, did mama not hug you or something? And it's not even about that. Some of them just don't like Black women. And I think the same way a man will buy a fancy car, he'd want to have a fancy woman on his arm. So when he steps into a room, people will say, wow, he must be important because he got him an international looking chick or even a bunny or whatever. And at the end of the day, I hear men, this isn't even my opinion, I hear a lot of men say that now. Like,
but the thing is, all they do is try to copy the Black woman. Like, I don't understand that. Okay, like, let's really go
think Black
there.
women are just tired of waiting. They're Black women, from what I'm seeing, Black women are just tired of waiting. They're waiting on daddy to be daddy. They're waiting on their man to step up. They're waiting on dude to finally, ask if he's gonna marry, and they like, I'm gonna do it myself now. I got friends that are literally consciously are about to be single moms on purpose. Mm-hmm. Not in our day where you were single mom because shit happened, but like literally woke up one morning and says, I ain't gonna wait on Jay. I'm gonna go ahead and get these eggs. I'm gonna get it popping. And it's like, wow, it's where we live in now. Women are tired of waiting, and men are like, they feel like they're better than us, but better than y'all.
How did we get here? Because maybe if we start there, we can figure out how to get it back.
I think one of the things, and I think we need to be solution based, and I think we talk about that sort of thing. And I think one of the things that we have to kind of figure out is we're talking about the symptoms, and we're not really looking at the problems. One of the things, and I'm not going to say this is a problem, but again, in the spirit of selfishness, one of the things that women have been able to do is break away the chains of dependency and be independent, right? Being able to make their own money, being able to take care of themselves, et cetera, right? And stand on their own 2 feet. Marriage was an institution that was probably created, in my opinion, to provide a woman her place with a man, and he's supporting her, and she's doing all the things to support him that were non-financial, and he created the financial security. Women don't need that marriage anymore. They don't need to be leaning on a man for financial reasons. And so when you're able to the dynamic of marriage and how it was sold to us, I think is not what it needs to be going into the future. And what that means is that there has to be a shift in how we view money, how we view each other, and a little bit more open and compromising. If I marry as a man, I shouldn't be afraid to marry a woman that makes more money than me. As a woman, if you make more than your man, it shouldn't be a case where at some point you start emasculating or throwing that in his face or making him feel less than a man, right? There may be some times where you may need to lean into his manhood, but also that man needs to be able to look at you and be able to see, we're partners, and it has nothing to do with really money, but we're equal and we do things and we both bring something to the table. That's a mindset that has to be set. But in order for us to do that, even before that part, we not only have to like ourselves and be okay with ourselves, but in order to be compromising, you cannot be selfish.
Mhm.
We can't go into relationships wondering what I'm going to get out of it. If I'm okay with myself and I love myself, one of the things that I'm always thinking about is how can I make somebody else's life good or better? When I think about a partner, I think about what can I offer them? What can I do for them to make them smile, to make them help them reach their happiness, to help them reach their goal, or to what can I bring to the table because I think I'm a solid person and I'm okay
Right.
with myself. So so when I'm looking for somebody or something, I'm looking to what can I bring to them? And hopefully they'll think the same. And so now you have two people competing to make each other better, right? That's a great competition.
Right. But to your point, I think the disconnect happens when we are going into any type of relationship selfishly. I just think about my relationships with my really good friends. Like the way that my attitude towards my really good friends is just like what you described. How can I make their life better? I would love to do something to make them smile. I'm so appreciative of the friendship that we have, and I do nice little things to show them, or like maybe I treat them to dinner, maybe I give a card on their birthday or whatever. But like when it comes to our, romantic relationships, we don't have that because we're starting out thinking what can I get, or like all of the wrong things, instead of just being someone's friend. Like literally just be someone's friend, just be a blessing to someone, offer help when you see an area where they might need it, you know be a listening ear, because a lot of people need that. Like a lot of times I really lean on my friends to just be a listening ear when I'm going through something. And I just think about the friendship aspect of that relationship, friend-based relationships, like platonic relationships, and how why can't we bring that into our relationships or potential relationships when we're dating or we have interest in one another? Like we need a mindset shift, like seriously,
Well,
because we need to go ahead.
it's all about likes. Social media, no, social media doesn't help neither. Like yeah, when you don't like yourself, you're looking to be liked, right? You're looking, you look that like. Listen, that heart button is a drug. It's the worst drug out there right now. It's beating cocaine, it's beating heroin, it's beating ecstasy. We live for that. You could go into a club right now and see 18 people with a phone like this,
Facts.
like trying to show off to everybody what you're doing, what you're not doing, because you damn sure ain't partying. You know what I mean? Like you're not having a good time, but you want to fake like to everybody in the world that you don't know. And I think the hard part, again about relationships nowadays, because we made them so public, is that you don't want to get rejected in public neither. And so there's that. You're scared again. We talked about this last 2 weeks ago, where we're so scared of being rejected. We're so scared of not being accepted, which is why you go on social media and you only get one like, you start questioning who you are. You know what I'm saying? You start questioning, damn, you start questioning the person, and like because you didn't get enough likes. Like that's wild. That's what we're living for. And so if we're living for to be liked all the time, again, it goes back to not having any self-esteem and what can I offer? And it sucks because it social media, it didn't really start off like that. But
Yeah.
it
I was
morphed into
I,
that.
I also think it's deeper though too, man. I, like you said, solutions. I have an easy solution, but it's the hardest thing in the world to do. We gotta forgive each other. We gotta forgive.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta. We when a woman, you have to remember. We don't. I'm not just mentioning my wife, but I know a lot of women that dealing with third, fourth, fifth generation fathers that stepped out, that weren't there. Granddaddy wasn't there at the funeral. They done found out they had 12 brothers, 12 sisters at the funeral. You feel me? Like it's so unoriginal, bro. Like so now you're dealing with a woman with a lot of residue that's looking at dating because they don't trust us, Jay. And who blames them? Why would we blame them? So I think that one thing that I learned in from South Africa when they were dealing with racism and apartheid, one thing they had this court where cops and all these white people had to literally stand in front of a courtroom and say their grievances of what they did to black people. And it made that country at least mourn better. At least like understand, like a cop would be like, yeah, I killed this man because he was black and he, like ain't nobody doing that. And we need to do that first, man, because we need our black women, bro. Like to pretend anything else is crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'll go back to what you said originally. You opened up with why Donald won. Is because no one wanted to see a black woman win. She washed his ass in that debate. Let's not be cute, man. If you were on the fence when you saw that debate, it was like Mike Tyson, man. Tell me you ain't seen Mike Tyson knock somebody out in that debate. Like a grown man I was embarrassed for Trump. Real talk. It's like he was stomping on his ass. I was like, God, stop. Somebody called the police on this man. She beating the hell out this man. And you gonna sit there and pretend that she wasn't capable? Oh, and she was giving policy Trump in his ass. So at the end of the day, it was really two simple things in my opinion. I'm just a simple guy. One reason he won is because of the fact that no one wanted to see a black woman win. And the second is that we've now, to your point, Jay, we've held celebrity at this high esteem. I've never seen it on this level. Like celebrity is like the highest tier of citizenship. You can be famous and fuck around, get away with murder. He said it years ago. I could shoot someone here on Broadway and I can get away with it. Yo, Trump has always been famous. I remember as a kid when he was a socialite. I didn't even know what that word was until Trump was doing that in the 80s. Hanging out with stars and red carpets at the Grammys and, all this money. And they introduced him. He was Kim Kardashian before Kim Kardashian. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with you that he's had. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, and he's a convict too. So let's put that on the table. 34 counts.
I don't disagree that he has a level of celebrity, but I don't think that that's really why people. I think, and I saw this documentary, a clip of a documentary, I should say, where a white supremacist was getting interviewed and he was talking about why he voted for Donald Trump. And he said, as a white man, I'm going to vote for my kind. I want America is ours, basically, and I would like to keep it that way.
Well, so I'm going to help you out with that. And it'll take away from the topic a little bit, but I think that there is an understanding. The 2020 census basically show by 2030, white people are going to be in the minority.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the minority, that means you can't control the government, right? And so if you think about it, what other place on earth do white people rule anything? England. That's it. Right? Outside of that, Americans or white men here, they don't rule anywhere else. So to them, it's saving them from what they deem as theirs being taken away or controlled. So that's why you have a border. That's why the border is such a big issue. And that's why abortion was taken away. It wasn't about black women or anybody else. It's about making sure white women had babies.
Facts.
Point blank. That's why your abortion rights got taken away. They need white women to have babies, whether they get raped, whether they die on the table, whether it's regular, whatever, as long as a baby is born. So it really in that spirit, this is what this is. This is where it is. So how do black people? How do we not just understand that concept, but understand if we know the end goal for them, how do we put ourselves in a position where we either block or or just understand how to move in that strategy.
Well, we can't have all this fighting amongst ourselves. That's for starters. We have I mean, we've got to come together by any means necessary, and we got to start pouring money into our own businesses. Buy black, like support each other, support black banks, support black establishments, like support our shit. And I'm not trying to like be on no segregated type of shit, but this is where we are with it at the end of the day. Like we have to be prepared. And our young people are not. As someone in the school systems working with young people every day, I lose sleep at night, every night, because I know that the young people are not prepared to survive. They are not. They don't have the tools. They don't have the education. They don't have the grit. They don't have the heart. They don't have the motivation. They don't have any of that. And so when we're talking about progressing and moving us forward or strengthening us as a community, that's us. Like everybody on this call, like that's our generation. We have to make that happen. We cannot rely on the youth. We cannot. And so it's imperative that we understand the position that we're in and that we come together. It's imperative. And that, I mean, again, you'll hear me say it a lot of times tonight because I'm really on this. It starts with just being a friend, being a good neighbor, lending a helping hand, helping people out. Don't giving people the benefit of the doubt, assuming positive intent, like forgiving, like Eddie said. Like that's a big thing. I get that. To your point, I can understand why some black women feel tired, like tired, let down, and all the things you were talking about earlier. But at the same time, what we really just want is support. And if you guys are supporting us, we're supporting you guys, then as Jay said, we got a whole bunch of people working to make each other better, and then we make each other better. But it literally starts with us. It starts with this generation. It starts with all of us on this call.
And I was just going to say that, I mean, somewhere along the lines, we lost the caring, the love, and the compassion for people just as humans, like on the friendship level. I think about the day after, the election, I was checking on my female friends like, sis, you okay? My husband said, you all right? You hanging in there? I had a couple of male friends, say, oh, just checking in, see how you doing. Like how many black men checked in on the black women in their lives, whether they're friends, whether they're coworkers, or whatever, just to say, how you doing? We know this is heavy for you because, you're looking at a woman being held at the highest position. And even still, when we talk about glass ceilings and women, you can do whatever you want to do, and a very qualified, seasoned person goes for it and still doesn't get it. So that's probably why there are other reasons why women are tired, but that's probably why, because you have someone that looks like you, looks similar to you, very qualified, and at the end of the day, she still doesn't get it. Looks exactly how corporate America looks. Looks exactly, it just resembles all the way down in every part of our fabric.
For me, it was sad. The next day, I saw brothers, man, friends, guys I grew up with, gloating that they coming out the closet. Like, I know a lot of black dudes coming out the closet like, I was Trump, I voted for Trump, posting why, all their reasons, and then they went on to, it's crazy, man. Such a crazy with the false the false equations, because you have one man that wouldn't concede when he lost versus her not coming out right away to give her little concession speech, and people were dogging her. Like, oh, you see that? She didn't want to come out. She had all these supporters. And I'm like, yo, y'all crazy. Y'all let this man get away with not conceding he won.
It took so long because she had to get her whole face together.
Yeah, who cares though? Let her do her. You had old boy out here not even conceding.
Angry black woman. She had to get her whole aura.
You see how the taxes are different? You see the taxes, we pay different taxes over there, literally. And that's what I mean. And it hurt my heart to see our own calling out her on the taxes. I'm like, bro, you pay the same taxes. You know what I mean? How you gonna act like you don't know that this old boy out here, he didn't even concede, wouldn't concede to this day, won't even say, like he even lost. But she didn't. She wanted a moment to get herself together, and motherfuckers like were just going in. You see that? And I'm like, yo, it just hurt. It hurt to see that, man.
I
Yeah.
think there's a certain level of laziness too with our culture. Both black men and women are exhibiting when it comes to educating ourselves on the issues. My first degree is in economics, and it wasn't easy. Economics is very hard to understand at both a macro and micro level. There's some basic concepts that are pretty easy to get, but to understand the economics of things, you start to really understand where politicians really bullshit the hell out of you. One of the main things that folks don't really understand is that Trump has never been part of any sort of economic development or positivity in America. He came into office riding the wave economic policies of Obama, but he claimed that it's his. And then when he left office, um, the policies put in place sunk us again, and Biden had to dig that hole out, and it's going to happen again. But if you don't understand economics, and then you don't understand how policies that are put in place take 2 to 4 years to even settle in, you're not going to know that this guy straight up is just lying to you when it comes to this sort of this particular issue. But I think we can actually, if we just go and read and do the research, I think, and we're able to sit down and listen to each other and say, "Hey, sis, listen, oh boy, lying to you. Let me show you how. Let me pass this knowledge on to you so you understand a little better where we're at with this issue." And then, if we don't understand something about an issue, we should be open enough to go to our brother and sister and be like, "Hey, listen, I really don't understand what this is really about, or if this is true or not. Can you help me?" But again, I think we're afraid to being, I guess, being called stupid or not being. I don't know. I'm not understanding us anymore. It outside is different now. I don't understand us anymore. I don't
I mean,
understand why we're
that's
so selfish. I don't understand because all the things that we're describing, you have to be. It's outward. You have to be able to point outside of yourself and want to help another human being. You have to have caring for another human being, and that's just not being exhibited anymore.
I agree. And we really need to focus. Can you scoot back? Sorry, I tried to private message you,
My
but
bad.
you didn't see it. So you're like half
Yeah,
your
my
head
bad.
shut off. A little bit more, if you
Oh,
can, please.
yes,
Thank
man.
you. I lost my train of thought. No. I saw a comment in the chat. I think it was from Cool Dads, and he said we need to figure out a way to save the youth because, like it or not, the youth are our future. Yes, they are the future, but we are going to determine what that future looks like based on what we do. And we need to grab a hold of the youth and get them on board. And let's talk about how we do that. Like, how can we do that? Is it, I mean, we got people in schools. Obviously, I'm in the schools, I'm doing my part. Every single day, I am like teaching my guts out and not about the X's and O's and math. And I tell the kids, I don't really care about this. I am trying to prepare you for life, period. And when you don't get it, I'm going to give you pushback. For example, being on time to class. You think you're going to be able to keep a job if you're not on time to work? Like, they don't understand stuff like that. And so then when they're being late to class all the time, and then in a year when they graduate high school and they go try to apply for a job, first of all, they have a high school education, so they're not, the job that they're going to be getting is going to be very low wage, right? They probably have to make 2 or 3 just to support themselves, or have 2 or 3 jobs at that wage. But in addition to that, you're not going to keep it because you're always showing up to work late. So there are some things right there, just like teaching young people some things that they just need to know about life in general. Like, social skills, how to talk to people. Because I will tell you what breaks my heart, and this is another reason why I'm so adamant that Black men and women, we need each other and we have to demonstrate positive, healthy relationships, is because if you guys were to come and visit my school, you're going to see how the young boys and the young girls are talking to each other, how they're treating each other. And it will disgust you and sadden you at the same time. That's a daily experience that I have.
Do you talk to each other crazy?
They talk to each other crazy, like crazy.
So let me ask you something. And like I told you, we talked about this. Where are they getting it from?
The
Home, the neighborhoods,
social media, music.
social media. Yeah, social media. The music is a big one. The music is a big one. The music is a huge influencer on the young people, and the music is talking crazy. And so they're talking crazy to each other. These little boys, they are very aggressive with the young ladies. The young ladies are extremely aggressive with them. They're calling the boys bitches and hoes and sluts and whatever other slang that's new out there now. And they're getting called that back. They're doing a lot of play fighting, but they shouldn't be doing that at all. But then it also gets aggressive and sometimes leads to a fight, right? Because why are you thinking you can, like, there's just so much that's not good in the schools right now. And I love my school, don't get me wrong. We have great students there. But also in these schools that are predominantly Black and brown, it's a lot of bullshit going on. And that's impacting our communities.
Well, let's keep it a buck. The kids are a reflection of the environment that they're growing up in.
I don't disagree with that.
And you meet a fucked up kid, I bet you meet their parents, they fucked up too.
Most times, yes. But what do we do? How do we fix it? That's what we need to be talking about.
I think we should. I think we should literally start screening people before they have kids, and if they and because some people ain't fit to have.
Yeah, no,
we can't do that.
Can't do that.
I think realistically, I think one idea that makes us, why we have to strengthen our own relationships with each other is because we're the most unprotected people on the earth. And when we have a strong dad, a strong mom that love each other, that love them, it gives them a fighting chance. A lot of these kids are just projecting what they have to project because they feel like that's the idea of pop masculinity and pop femininity, so, and they feel unprotected. They got to run game. What you see most of the time is just like a bunch of dealing, game being run, when you realize love ain't a game, and I think, one of the things that we have to learn is that we have to redefine masculinity. It shouldn't be about smashing and grabbing like we were when we were growing. That's how I was taught. Like, yo, you smash with all these girls, that made you a man, But now it should be about really like trying to build with somebody. They build a friendship, build a relationship, build a marriage, even, and build and knowing that y'all coming in almost like I hate to say be dramatic, but is that real? We almost coming in like. In this revolution that we need each other. We got to make this work because we know what's going to happen if we don't. They're going to take our kids. Because even in schools, I know in my school, they've tried my son a couple times, but when they see me and wifey show up, they go, "Oh, he's protected. He ain't, he ain't, you know what I mean? Ooh, I can't do what I want to this kid because mom out here wearing a business suit and daddy over here got a tie on, and they're not playing with him. They don't play about their son." Because some of these moms, and this, Carolyn, better than any mom, you kind of tell they don't give a damn about their kids. They up in there just like, what do you want now? I'm working.
They'll block you, hang up on you when you call them about their kid. Like I'm calling you about your child.
Or pushing back on what you just said
You're
about
hanging up on me. You're not calling me back. It's your kid. And to your point, yes, they're products of their environment. So then now we got to change the environment because we have to fix it. Hi, James. We have to fix it.
Well, here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say. So I have a question. What happened to the hashtag Black Love movement? So I know there's the whole Black Love community. It started out as a series of, just couples, interviews, etc. What happened to the whole Black love movement? I know it's still out there because I see their posts every day on Instagram.
Oh, I thought
I
they all
saw
got
the milk
divorced.
carton.
Huh?
I thought they all got divorced.
I
Some
saw these
of them
milk
did
cartons.
that they interviewed, but
Did some of them get divorced? For real? Oh, okay.
I think a
some of
couple
them,
did.
some of them they interviewed did. Yeah.
What can we do? Maybe we can start like a positivity campaign. Like,
You know what else we don't do, and I think we're afraid to do it. And it's funny because I posted the other day, last week before the election. I said, "On God, if I find out, I'm going to the website. If I find out any of my friends didn't vote, yo, I'm cutting you off." It wasn't about whether who you voted for, but did you vote?
Oof.
And a friend of mine was like, "Yo, Jay, what's the crazy part was that whole day, people would send me personal messages. I voted. I voted." So I was like, "Damn, people really like my friendship." But that's the point. But I had somebody also say to me, "Yo, you shouldn't be harsh. Some people just don't, care, or just that they were making excuses." And I said, "This is the problem right here. We don't hold people accountable.
mm,
If I know, if I know the difference between right and wrong. If I got friends who will sit in my face and be like, 'Nah, I didn't vote,' and to give me an excuse, I shouldn't let that fly. They should get read the riot act. They should be told that what they're doing is wrong. You should be voting. Period. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm not telling you gotta take a day off for the work to do it, because you don't have to anymore. There's absolutely no excuse to not vote.
I agree.
And so if I know somebody didn't vote and I don't hold them accountable, then I'm as big as the problem as they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think accountability has to start happening. If we know better, we have to say something and
Okay,
stop giving people a
accountability.
pass.
I love that, but that has to be at all levels and with all things. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, when it comes to like a situation of I have a friend of mine and she's moving crazy with a dude like playing games or something like that, and I know about it, I should hold her accountable and I should say, hey, this is not how you should be moving. If you don't like Buddy, then just let him go and keep it moving. But to play games, and because I think there's a lot of that going, I don't even date no more. But when I have dabbled in
Yeah.
dating,
Oh,
I
Carolyn,
don't.
man, you killing me.
My sister got so excited. Look, we were talking about going out the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, maybe there'll be some eye candy there." And she was like, "Are you dating again?" And I was like, "Okay, no, don't do too much. Don't do
But
too
you be
much."
open for it, though.
I just said,
Would you be open for it, though?
She was really hoping for it.
No, but how about you, though, Carolyn? Would you be open to dating?
Would I be open to dating? Now
Yeah.
I would, yeah, but it's gonna be a slow process because I am adamant that I'm building a friendship with anyone that I get romantically involved in. And some of that's on me because if I really like a dude, I can move fast, I can move quickly. So if I really like a dude myself, I'm not going to move quickly in the situation. It is going to be a slow, you have to be my friend. I'm either going to end up with somebody that I already know because I already have, some type of baseline friendship or connection with a man that I already know, because that's what I really think, or somebody that I dated before. Now I know a lot of people say you shouldn't go back, but we talking about forgiveness, right? It's a couple exes I have. It's a couple exes I have that I might be able to forgive. Okay, couple. But even so, like, because I just know that I need that basis of friendship in my romantic relationship. And I just think that's where everything starts as far as helping us model healthy relationships with other people. Because, again, to your point, kids are a product of their environment. If they go to the store and they see, a girl cussing the waitress out because she's taking too long with their food, then that's the type of stuff they see. They might think that's okay. And so we need to be trying to hold people accountable for things like that too. I can remember this vividly. I was one time at a restaurant and there was this young girl. I mean, she was a young mom and she had one in a stroller and like a 3-year-old like on her knee, and she was talking so crazy to this 3-year-old, like crazy, like I told you little stupid ass to shut the fuck up, like crazy like that to a 3-year-old. And I could not. I was so disgusted. I had to say something. Of course, she wanted to turn up on me, and I would have fought her ass because maybe like we not doing that. We're not doing that. Like, I'm sorry. I cannot sit by and be like, oh, that ain't my it ain't my kid. Like,
Carol, I got your bail money, Carol. Don't even try.
oh no. Yeah,
Don't
I ain't even worried about it because I'm get out. I'm gonna whip your ass and they can come cuff me and I will be out of jail in 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. Okay. But that's beside the point. We cannot allow behavior that sets us back that we know to be wrong to exist in our presence. And that includes our family, our friends, whatever. And if people, when you help try to get people on track or you say, hey, that's wrong, if they don't fuck with that, then now I'll just pull away. If you're doing something that I don't like and I've already tried to hold you accountable for it and you continue to do it, that's your business. You've grown. But now I can't be associated with that because I'm not okay with you moving grimy in a situation. Especially now. And you can say, oh, Donald Trump got elected, whatever the catalyst is, like whatever. This is where I personally am at with it. We need to hold each other accountable and be better as people. We need to treat each other better because
it's funny what you said, Jay, or what you guys are talking about now. I have a homeboy I grew up with, love this guy, super intelligent, but he don't believe in voting. He has a theory. He says this to me all the time. He says voting is like knowing you about to get your ass kicked and you just voting for the man with the smaller foot. But the thing that he would argue, and it kind of reminds me of our relationship with each other as men and women, is we don't trust the government. He don't trust the government. He's seen the government do us wrong. He's kind of a conspiracy guy too, so you have that little thing on the side of his mind. But for most people that have been heard or seen a lot of craziness, they just don't believe that it's real. They think the government is rigged, and then you have a guy like Donald Trump that plays into that narrative. But a lot of us, especially because we've seen what we've seen and we know what we know, some of us don't believe in voting. And it's almost like asking a sister, yo, just trust this guy. Love him. He's a good guy. But she waiting for the other foot to drop. I don't know. I don't know if I can trust him. I heard this. I think that. He's showing signs. It's like the same relationship we have with voting. We have the same with each other. Where you could be actually a good guy, but the girl probably, because she's been hurt, her mama whispered in her ear, aunties done whispered in the ear about their bad relationships. And now she's kind of coming in with this idea of like, men are this way. And she could be missing out.
But that's that shit they talked about.
And y'all let him float with that bullshit.
Yeah, it happens. A lot of people. Like,
that's that fear that Jay's talking about. And I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Like, at the end of the day, just going back to what you, Eddie, said, forgiveness is a big thing. We have to be willing to forgive. Now, you don't have to necessarily, if someone did you grimy or something like that, that doesn't mean you have to give them another opportunity in terms of like a relationship or dating, but you should be able to forgive them and move on in a peaceful way. Everybody is our brother and everybody is our sister. That's how we need to be treating each other. Because if you think about it, God, we all have skeletons in our closet. We all have done grimy things in our relationships with other people. And also, the Bible says we need to forgive one another like he forgives us. Okay? So that is another thing. We can't. Part of the reason why we struggle so much to forgive is because a lot of us live in that resentment, right? We like that trauma. And I get that. Those are painful things. They exist. But at the same time, that's keeping us held back. It's also hindering our growth because we continue or choose to live in it instead of just like ripping the Band-Aid off of it and say, okay, this happened, so-and-so did this way, or I've been in these bad relationships before, but that doesn't mean moving forward that I cannot have a good, healthy relationship. Because when you let that fear take over, that's when you make decisions that are counterproductive to what you're really trying to do or what you're really trying to accomplish. And yes, Donald Trump know that, and that's what he did, and he preyed on people who are not very educated and don't really have a mind of their own. They're just following the trend of voting for Donald Trump because of all the lies that he tells. Okay? But we know better. And if you know better, you do better, right?
I hope we know better, but that may not be the truth. But it's cool.
What do you mean by that?
Um, Donald Trump is able to reach a certain segment of people. Let me back up. I didn't really understand this at one point, but it's really this election also helped me figure out there's a bias towards um, academically excel people. There's a bias towards smart people. There's a bias towards, or there is a division between blue collar and white collar in this country, and it's huge, and it actually plays into a lot um, on how people vote. One of the things that anybody that voted for Trump or folks that took take him seriously is that they don't want to be called stupid or talked down to because they do believe in Donald Trump, right? Like that's one of the things that folks I always thought was pretty interesting is the fact that um, I don't think anybody do do we say people who vote for Trump are stupid? In roundabout ways, we do.
I
We
mean,
do.
do we think that? Yes.
Is that I bring is that fair? Is that
There's
fair to
right and wrong in
downplay
the
somebody?
situation.
Say it again.
I think there's right or wrong, and this is a special case because he is such a deplorable person with such awful character, and he is so adamantly against. He's very racist, and so like there's nothing that I could even grapple at that would make me think that he is someone that should be in a position of leadership, let alone America, because
If,
we don't represent, well, I thought we didn't represent that, but apparently maybe we do. Maybe
if
we
there are
do
other
represent.
people who don't think like you in that manner, does that make them stupid?
In my opinion, it makes them ignorant.
Which
It
is
makes
another way of
them
saying stupid.
have a lack of knowledge about the big picture. So in
Right.
that regard,
And
yes.
who are you to say that about that person?
I said in my opinion.
Right. Well, this opinion, well, obviously it's not a fact,
Mhm.
but in your opinions, and whether it's an opinion or fact, you're still calling someone and saying that how they feel, how they think about this candidate is ignorant, is stupid. Who are you to say that?
I'm Carolyn Marie Alexander from Hazard, Kentucky. Go Cats, and I'm gonna say the shit all day long. You
Right. And
ignorant.
so that
Correct.
person is looking at you and like, oh, this is why I'm glad my candidate won because you smart people think you're so smart. That's why my candidate won.
It's not about being smart or
But
not.
but you did though. You made it about being smart because you called my approach or how I feel about my candidate ignorant, which is another word of saying stupid, which
Okay,
challenges my
that's fair.
intelligence.
That's fair, and I don't really know how to counteract it because that's truly how I feel about the
No, and
situation.
that's okay. I'm not telling you how to feel or not how to feel. I'm just telling you that the person on the other side of your opinion is like, well, fuck you too. Like, why am I stupid? Because I feel this way about this candidate. And so what ends up happening is there is a division. There's a division, and that division doesn't. It's not really about color, right? There are black people who look at other black people that have degrees or went to school this and the third, and look at them in a certain way.
That's their own insecurities. But okay, I get it.
Absolutely. And so if you're smart as a candidate, if only, I think it's like 13% of America went to college, 15%. If I'm a candidate, who am I going to speak to?
The person that talks to your level.
I'm going to speak to the level of the bigger population. Newspapers are written at a 7th grade level. Most of Donald Trump's followers read at a 3rd or 4th grade level.
But
If you listen
I
to
will.
if you
Yeah.
listen to his diction and his statements, they're very, very simple. And his issues, the way he provides solutions, they're very, very simple. I said it earlier. We have an immigration problem. Donald Trump, wall. 1 + 1 = 2. It's that simple. He's speaking to his, he's able to speak to his base. And so that division, even within Black people, we're gonna have to work and look into that at some point.
Well, you know,
Because
one thing I know in my church, there's a big division of a lot of Trump supporters, and I'm friends with a lot of people in my church, and a lot of them who are intelligent people, went to college, even doctors, but their point is that they see that Trump, they're more afraid. The evangelicals, religious people, are afraid of the whole trans community taking over the world and creating a whole subculture culture for the kids, because you hear about now these little kids are able to go to a teacher or transition at like 10. You know what I mean? And so like there's that fear. And Trump, to your point, 1 + 1, he did go on stage and said he's gonna render down this whole LGBTQ to just male and female. And to a lot of people who happen to be intelligent too, love that concept. They don't want the idea of their kid going into a gender-free bathroom or whatever because of their religious beliefs, and they happen to be a surgeon. But my point is that he was able to sell that so well, where they've actually, I think that's a big part of why he won too, is because I voted for Kamala, and I'm not saying nothing about Kamala, but the party in itself is moving in such a direction socially that some people are just not ready for it, like especially people like us. Seeing the transgenders do all this, that, and the third, and moving in such a way where all of a sudden we can offend somebody if I say her, them, there, whatever. It's like I come from where they met white people. Now they mean something else.
that part.
You're not white.
Yeah.
So
I just feel like at the end of the day, when we're talking about voting for someone, we are talking about a position of leadership, right? And I just feel like maybe some people don't understand what that means. Maybe they've never really been a leader. So if you've never been a leader, you don't really understand what it takes to be a good leader, or maybe you don't know what a good leader looks like. Because I just don't feel like he is a good leader for 100,000 reasons. And at the end of the day, that's the part that that's where I say ignorance comes in, because I feel like that if you support a man like him, then you don't understand what leadership is truly about, because you cannot be a leader and be worried about some of the people and anti some of the people. You cannot do that. That is not a leader. A leader is supposed to be the biggest server. He serves no one but himself. So to me, there's a lack of understanding about leadership that would lead to somebody even considering voting for him. And that's just my opinion. And I don't really care who it offends, okay? Because this is my podcast, and if you don't like it, log off. Disrespectfully.
I love it.
That's just what it is. No, and I'm not saying it to be mean or anything, but at the end of the day, like, I cannot be okay with somebody justifying putting someone in position of power, the most powerful position in the world, as the leader of the United States of America, when they lack such character, morals, and values. And they are not service minded at all. Like not even a little bit. They're power minded. They're what how can I get better, put myself in a better position? Like it's just counterproductive to what leadership is all about, in my opinion. And so at the end of the day, that's my stance on that. And I don't want to get too far off topic because I know I got some people in the chat that disagree with me. Feel free to hop on and like I'm gonna
I
put
mean, my thing is, how did he get here in the first place, right? How is he qualified in the first place? That's a whole nother issue.
there's
Like,
that.
how is a felon qualified to run for president? We have felons that can't even apply for jobs, can't even get jobs.
Preach.
And who was that targeted to?
That you first of all, I need first of all, and Eddie said it. We need to stop looking at certain things, especially politics, with emotion. If you have money in this country, the laws don't apply to you. Point blank, bottom line. He's everything that he was brought up and convicted for. It's not going to happen. Why? Because even if he was the president, money would have got him out of all of that stuff. That's just how America works. So let's just stop. We have got to get past it. Money, if you got money, the regular rules of society do not apply to you.
Yes.
That's the point of having money. The next thing is that here's something else that we have to really start looking at and understanding, and this is kind of mad. I don't care. Kamala, even if she had won, she could not, and I don't think she should have tried to focus on doing something for Black people. Here's why. Two main reasons. We are only 13% of the population. Your president, like Carolyn said, has to be a leader for all people. We are only 13% of the population. That is not all. We are a tiny sum. Therefore, anybody that gets a position has to look at everybody. The second reason why Black people do not get what they want politically is because we carry no political weight. We have no political power. As a community block with the strongest dollar, we do not know how to use it or flex it. We are easily divided, which makes it easily for us to be tossed aside. Because there's never been a time when anybody ever said, I am scared to go against the Black population because they will vote this way or that. It's that simple. And it's even worse at the state and local levels. Black people our communities do not carry political power. In order for you to get your agenda taken care of, you have to prove that you can make your culture, your population vote a certain way. This particular election showed that we could at least get 80 to 90% of the Black population to vote a certain way. I think that's pretty good. But we're still only 13% of the population. So not only do we have to manage votes, but we have to manage our dollar. Because that dollar will now get our agendas met. You want to know why we don't have reparations? You got to put money in people's pockets in order for them to go to I got it. And this should shut it down right here. Gun laws. In 2013, in Connecticut, I think, kids got killed. Babies. Do you know how many gun laws came out of that?
0. One. Which one?
Background checks.
For real?
Yes, that is
After
it, bro.
You talking about Sandy Hook?
Yeah.
I don't think they
That's
did anything.
it, bro. They did. Cause I watched this thing on Obama. And they went through it because that was when Obama was in office. That's the only thing. And he talked about how strong the gun lobby is, how strong the NRA is. The part of their power lies in the dollar. They're able to buy off pretty much everybody on the hill. So if your dollar ain't working for you, then your agenda won't get met. So as Black people, that's something that we really have to start understanding. Just because we here, that doesn't mean anything.
I guess I'm kind of agree with you, and then I kind of don't, because at the end of the day, if that's the case, then again, how do we educate ourselves and put ourselves in position to have that? I mean, right now, there's a cycle of poverty, and there's a cycle of lack of education, and there's a cycle of low income in our community. And based on what I see being in the school system, it is going to continue. So if you're talking about economic power, we got to get educated first.
All right.
We got to get educated on a lot of different levels, but that starts with all of us getting on the same. We got to get on the same page as a community. Like, we have to get on the same page as a community and start having conversations about what our priorities are as a community and how we're going to come together and lift each other up and move our culture forward. But if we can't do that, then we're going to be stuck in the same rat race that some of us, everybody on here got degrees, and that's cool. We all going to be all right. We got God too. But when shit hits the fan, or if shit hits the fan, the people who are the most vulnerable populations are going to suffer the most. Yeah. The poor and the uneducated, because they don't have the resources or the education to figure it out. And that's mostly us. Let's just keep it real as a people. And so that's what we need to be figuring out, how we can come together.
But it goes back to what I said earlier in that divisiveness, as far as people who are smart and people who, there has to be some sort of meeting of the minds where the folks who feel like they may not be able to obtain that education or understand those concepts, they have to feel comfortable and trust the ones that do.
Well, we can all learn from each other. Just because I have, a college degree and you don't, doesn't mean that I'm smarter and that all the decisions that I make are going to be the best decisions for us.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, but you don't act like that. You just said earlier, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, that somebody that voted for Trump is ignorant.
Right. Education, when I say education, I don't necessarily mean your ability to read and write and do math problems. Education is like a holistic thing. Like, I understand how to go and get the resources that I need if I don't have them. That's education. I understand how to problem solve when a problem arises. That's education. It doesn't necessarily mean I have all these degrees, because you can have all these degrees and still be ignorant. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of degree people who voted for Trump. And they're not uneducated people, okay? But they lack, in my opinion, they lack a certain type of education, because education is very widespread. So I don't want anybody to think when I say education that I'm strictly talking about how many degrees you have or whether or not you graduated from college or not.
Well, the thing for me, the thing that educated me about this election is that I no longer see white supremacy as a white person. I see it as an idea, and an idea that unfortunately a lot of us have bought into. And I think the thing that kind of hurts my heart is that I come from an era where being black was a group project. There was the idea that we would have this code, and now the code is gone. Like, there's no codes. In white supremacy, like, it could be from it could be I know black people that think just like white people now all day. You guys do too, all day. And that's why I can't even look at like white supremacy as a guy that with the same look. Nah, bro, it could be your cousin. It could actually be your brother. All of a sudden, that's bought into the idea. And my sad thing is that, like, I don't know about you, Tiffany. The next day, I sat my kids down and we talked. Me and my wife talked to our kids how tomorrow is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Keep a low profile. I don't know what you did, Tiffany, but we were like, keep a low profile. Don't be extra, because they coming for you. You a target now, my son. You a target now. Be easy. But if I would have been raising these kids on my own, or my wife was raising them,
Right.
she'd be worried about getting the cereal and the milk and making sure she wasn't late. We had time. We had each other to be like that night when they announced my man was over here, we won. I looked at my wife and was like, we got to talk to the kids tomorrow, because their life is changing now and they don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean. That's why we need each other. Because if I back to the old girl you saw with 3 kids and one on her lap and one on her back, bro, you don't have time to talk to your kids on some like real shit. You don't got a husband holding a kid and be like, yo, we gotta talk. We gotta strategize now. These kids are targets. You know, it's real. And that's why we need each other, because the education is, like, yo, we coming for them now. They doing a cleansing right now. We know what it is. We done seen this movie. They doing a cleansing. They gonna find a way to get everyone over that border.
And we better together than divided, because
Yeah. But when you out here
we'll
hating
fall
each
real
other,
quick.
that's why they don't respect us, because, everything's based on relationships, not just, especially men and women. When they see, how many times you ever, how about you, Jay? How many times you had to slap a friend because you talked to your friend about your mama a little too personal, and then they agreed with you and you got in your feelings? You're like, Jay, what'd you just say about my mom? When all he did was agree with you. My mom is a bitch. She won't let me stay out tonight. And yeah, your mom is a bitch. Oh. But you know what you did, but without knowing, you gave him permission to call your mama a bitch. And a lot of times, the way we carrying ourselves as men, we giving them permission to fuck our women and not give any shits about our women. So we're moving wrong. How you gonna write a song called "Niggas in Paris" and get mad because your white boy want to sing the lyrics? Don't write "Niggas in Paris" then. You feel me? Oops. But my point is, man, we not carrying ourselves right, man. We making our women look like this. No wonder they didn't want to vote for her, because we don't want to vote for her. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like you said, we just need to band together, and the time for blaming whose fault it was and all this kind of stuff, that shit is over with. It don't matter at this point. Like,
You gotta
it doesn't
forgive
matter.
each other.
It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter. We have got to get on the same page so we can move forward. I like what Sydney said in the chat. He said, we need strong Black families taking kids in and helping them. All of us on here, maybe we can mentor a young person. My school, I've started a Paul partnership program at our school where I have reached out to everyone in my personal network. And if I haven't, I'm inviting you now. If you want to partner with me and come be a mentor, come speak, come and encourage some of the young people, and come see what these schools are like so we can figure out how we can help the young people, please DM me or call me if you have my personal number, and let's talk about it. I already have several friends who have reached out. I've got 2 coming on Thursday, and I'm excited about that. Okay, because they need to hear and see from people that are not the people that they're constantly around in their homes and in their communities. Because a lot of times those people ain't doing nothing. They're not doing anything. And that's how that cycle continues to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. And we're not breaking it. And some of us are getting out here and there, here and there, here and there. Some of us are getting out. And if we, the ones of us who have gotten out of the cycle, now we get together and we're raising kids in a home that has 2 educated parents who are able to teach them how to move, how to treat people, about money and finances, something else that we need to get better at as a community. They don't want that shit in schools though, because they don't want us to get better with our finances. Right now, they want us to blow our money on Gucci and Louis and everything else that we blow our money on, which is freaking ridiculous, which is perpetuated by all the music that we listen to. But we're all smart enough, and I would say wise enough at our age to know better. And we're not influenced by it, even if we do listen to it. But
Let me ask you something. How often do you spend money on Black businesses?
as often as I
All the
can.
time.
Not as much as I should, but as often as I can.
Right. So there are things like that you can do personally, and then being able to bring people along and start having those conversations. I know some of my closest friends and I, we talk money all the time. But we talk money as not an object, but as a vehicle to get the things that we want to do and do the things that we end up want to do, which is really a lot of it's outworldly to help out other people. But we want to bring in other folks into that fold, and I think we have to be deliberate about that sort of thing. But I think about all the time. If when I look at the money that I spend, I don't get to spend a lot of money on Black business at all. And even I mean, just our basic needs: car, gas, housing, some of the clothes on our back, things like that. It all goes to another culture. We don't
How can
own
we change
anything,
that?
huh?
How can we change that? Because there are a lot of Black businesses that supply those things that we may or may not know about. And that's why we're not supporting. Because if we don't know, we can't support businesses that we don't know. So there's that.
But also we have to be able to look for them too, right?
Yeah.
I don't
But
think we're lazy by default. If it ain't in our face, we ain't looking for it.
well, everybody on this call, let's start a pledge that we're going to research and support a Black owned business.
But it has to be something other than t-shirts and shit. I'm talking like it's got to be stuff that can replace or be an alternative option to things that we really need to live.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that stuff takes seed money. How much venture capitalist money goes to Black people?
Isn't it like less than 1% or something like that? It's low.
Yeah, it's bonkers low.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowingly low. And you
Yeah.
telling me we come from our stock is the Black people who pretty much invented everything that you see every day. You're telling me we don't have folks who don't have good ideas out here that can't be invested? The conversation has to start shifting in all different assets, in all different ways.
Right. Like I said, that mindset shift. Like we have to really do a mindset shift.
When you say mindset, but let's keep it simple. Right? How do we do that? Like, how do we simplify it and say it in a manner where everybody can understand what we're saying? Not just the degree people, but the people who, you know, my GEDers.
Well, I think baseline we start as seeing each other like sisters and brothers. Everybody, you're my sister, you're my brother. That's how I'm looking at you. That's how I'm going to treat you. That I think that like let's start to repair and rebuild broken relationships wherever they may exist.
I think that's why the hashtag Black Love was such a movement at one point in time. And I don't know, how we got away with it, but it was something everybody could band with, whether it's friendships, whether it's marriages, whether it's whatever type of relationship.
Well, let's revive it. Let's do something on this podcast to make some type of difference, to bring something to social media, or we can start a campaign. We can bring back Black love. Let's commit everyone on this call right now to something that we can do.
Tired. I'm tired, Carolyn. I'm tired of being the one to start shit.
I don't
get somebody else.
How tired you are.
Sitting the bench. This podcast is having the count. We're doing that. I am tired of being the one. I don't have the bandwidth, Charlie. I don't.
We can do more. And if I get up and take
more. No. Ask the Bammers who don't do shit all day but go to work to do something. Don't ask the people who don't. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We let them off the hook.
They need to do something, but we need to do something too.
We are doing something. We're the ones coming up with the ideas and talking about it.
What about a networking event or a live podcast where there's an audience, there's people that actually come in, have a live
I like that.
Networking.
20%.
I like your hashtag idea. Maybe we could do something like Black Love.
The plumber ain't coming to a networking event. We gotta think for all people. A plumber ain't coming to The carpenter ain't coming to a networking event.
You don't know.
I do know that.
Because they can get business that
How
way.
many-
It's a networking
Let
event.
me ask you something, Carolyn. How many carpenters do you meet at park?
How many? I don't know.
None.
I don't know what the men at park do.
Whoa. You know why? Because you bougie women that be at park ain't gonna take a carpenter or a plumber seriously. So he's gonna go. He's gonna go where he's loved.
First of all, it's not gonna be at park.
Okay.
And he's gonna. My point is that plumber, that carpenter, he's gonna go where he knows he's gonna get love.
That's what I'm saying. I'm giving love to all y'all, all my brothers. And if you're trying to get with me like that, you gonna be my brother first, and we're gonna build a friendship, and then maybe we can see about something more than that. But it starts as a friendship. I like the idea of a networking event. We're going to talk more about that. But Eddie, you were saying I liked your idea also.
Yeah, it was. I piggyback off of Tiffany. Something like it could be a hashtag where it says Black love is ... and then people can fill in the blank, like Black love is beautiful, Black love is forgiveness, Black love is wonderful, Black love is strong. It could just be like nurturing. It could be whatever perspective of what everyone has, and it could just be a whole. We could start a fire with that. You know what I mean? Where people like know this is what Black love is and what it looks like in a sense.
So are we posting images on social media that support that? Like if I say Black love is strong, and then I'm going to post an image of something that represents strength in some way.
Maybe, yeah, that could work. I mean, something
or
like
just
that.
anything that supports Black, like the Black community or Black people or Black.
Whatever strength looks like to you, you know, like.
Okay, so are we all going to commit on this call to doing that this week before we come back next Tuesday? Jay, don't sit over there like you ain't doing this because you participating, okay?
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
We're going to talk about this offline, okay?
Yo,
y'all
to talk about this in front of company, okay?
y'all can get mad at me all you want to. I do my part. Listen. I do. I give and I give and I give. I talk. I'm tired. I'm tired.
Trust me. Okay,
tired.
I go to school every day and I deal with the youth. Now I give and I give and I give. And if one day I wake up and say I'm tired, I don't want to do that. That could be the day that a kid who really needs me and I'm not there for them. And that's what I always think. Like I am so on fire about getting our youth together that I cannot not care. I can't not do anything. I cannot. So if you want to do it with us, then everybody commit to a Black Love Is post on your personal social media page, hashtag. And then also, there was one more thing that I wanted to do. Tiffany, can you and I talk offline about an event? Because I want to do that too.
I think Jay events all the time.
I know. You don't want to do no event now.
Let me know.
Tired. Okay, you get a couple days to rest. Everybody need to recharge.
Y'all know how hard it is to put on an event? I did events. I've done events. I did an event last year for CIW. Y'all know how hard it is to do an event?
I do. That's why I can't do it. But I will be there and I will know exactly. Okay?
You learned the hard way, didn't you?
We can coordinate with the correct promoter that's already got something that's going on that's going to collaborate and go with the theme.
All this takes is us reaching out to our personal network because we all know somebody that got a venue, is a promoter, like get the food together, all of that. We all know somebody in our personal contacts.
Let's do it. I'm with it.
So let's make it happen. Okay, tit for tat. In-person networking event coming soon. Okay,
ooh, let's go.
I'm excited about that. Hashtag Black Love Is coming this week. Let's do a campaign to the end of the year. One post a week. Can we all commit to that? Y'all online. Can y'all commit to that with us? There's so many online messages that I missed. I gotta go back. Okay, because we're at time actually over. I'm gonna give Tiffany and Eddie the floor to give us any last minute thoughts in terms of why Black men and women need each other. Ladies first, and then I'll say something and then Jay can close us out.
All right. So, Black men and women need each other because we are humans. We all need love. We all need to be respectful and caring and loving on one another because that's how it was meant to be. So we've talked about it before. If you need to find a way for forgiveness, seek out help and counseling. But, we all need to be together as a team. So that's all I got.
That.
Good stuff.
Yeah, well, for me, Black love is probably the most resourceful, most fruitful covenant that we could ever have. It's such a dangerous covenant that the enemy even turned the government against us to separate us. The enemy knew that if they could just separate man and woman, that they could conquer us easier. So the fact that they say, I feel like it's a revolution, man. Black love is a revolution that needs to be televised more. It needs to be promoted more. And we need to realize that that's how dangerous it is when we're together. That they're gonna separate us. They're gonna try anything. They're gonna lie on us even. They're gonna even give the woman money to say, just cut him out. You don't gotta have his pictures up. That's real life. That's how dangerous we are when we're together. So we need to realize that that's how real we are. We need to take ourselves. We need to be more serious and more, intentional with who we are, like how we are and why we need each other. Like that's how dangerous we are, man. Nobody ever done that with any other race but us. To literally, have in their war room say how we can get them together because once we separate them, we can find a way. Come on, y'all. That's the education that needs to be taught. They ain't teaching that in school. That's how dangerous we are. Remind people how dangerous we are. And let's forgive each other. And let's get this popping, man. Let's get this revolution going.
I love it. That has me fired up. I agree. Guys, whatever happened, the election is over with. We cannot do anything about it. And we were divided. Someone wrote in the comment, I think it was Eddie, that we were divided before Trump, and we were. Now we're going to get back together again. Okay. The great Black breakup is over with. All right.
I like that one.
We done with the great Black breakup. Fuck that. Okay. We are getting back together. Y'all hear me? We're getting back together. We're going to get these network events popping. We're going to get these mentorship programs popping. We're going to be going into these communities where people need our help. Okay, we're going to partner with churches. I'm telling you, but we cannot do it alone. We need your help. So I'm going to say this again. If you have ideas, you can DM Tit for Tat page. You can DM my personal page if you want to, or if you have my contact information, send me a text directly. And because I definitely want to partner with anyone who wants to join us in this great makeup, the great Black makeup. There we go. Great Black makeup. And I want to say
that's a hashtag right there.
Hashtag the great Black makeup.
Yes. Keep it talking.
I love it. I definitely want to thank
Breakups to makeups, baby. That's a Method Man song.
What?
Breakups
That's
to
a song, boy.
Method Man had a song called Breakups to Makeups. You supposed to be a music head.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said. Yes, I love that song. Definitely, but I definitely want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. There were so many good comments in the chat. I love the way there was some challenging in the chat that, it's okay for us to disagree with things. It doesn't, but I like that everyone kept it respectful, honestly. And I think that that's going a long way to show, let's demonstrate what being together means. Let's demonstrate what caring and loving on each other means at as much as we possibly can at all times. And also, I'm going to challenge y'all because I'm going to do this too. This doesn't have to be an official challenge, but I personally am going to do it, is to research and support a Black-owned business in your area. Next Tuesday, I'm going to ask who did it. Maybe I'll throw in a little prize or something for,
And there's several Black wineries out by where I live at, if anybody wants to go.
Oh, I've been wanting to go to a winery anyway. So we got to talk offline, Tiffany. So we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you. We'll be back next Tuesday. Topic TBD.
TBD. It may be part 2 of this. I may have another guest.
Oh, okay. I love that. Well, I'm done. Love you guys. And Jay, wrap us up, please.
So this if we're gonna go from the great breakup to the great makeup,
The great black makeup.
the great black makeup, somebody's got to start it, right? And I hate to lay this on y'all, but ladies, you're gonna have to lead the way on this one.
All right, challenge accepted.
Well, hold on, because it's gonna be some.
What?
Boom, boom.
I always say this: women pick boyfriends, men pick wives, and it starts. This relationship thing starts with women. Now, in that spirit, we've been talking for months and years about how we have a lot of we're picky, or we have certain things that women want their man to have or be, and some of it is what's the word I'm looking for? Some of it's legit, right? You want security, you want this, you want to feel blah blah. There's certain things that are like, yeah, you should have that. I think what I'm looking for, and this is we're gonna have to kind of switch away and look at our financials differently, and not and being and looking provisions and provisioning differently. Because I think a lot of that we tie it to money right now, and I think we're gonna have to kind of step away. In particular, my ladies, you're gonna have to start looking at all men and not just the ones in your tax bracket. To start looking at and going forward with this great makeup, because it may be the lawyer may end up getting with the plumber. There's nothing wrong with that, but y'all have to be open to that.
Yeah,
like there's gonna be some.
I saw Carolyn's face. I'm sorry, bro. Carolyn's face is
like
she ain't a
hey, listen, like financially, you may need to, babe. I want to go to Fiji. I know you ain't got, like, I'll put up. You know what I mean? Like, I got us.
No, we ain't thinking about taking trips right now. Okay,
Hold on.
now it's time to go to Fiji.
I see you already.
I'm sorry.
You are.
Look, 2 salaries better than 1, no matter
You
what the amounts are.
You already jacking up the church's money.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My point is, it can't be about the money, but you gotta.
Yes.
We have to concentrate on the relationship itself. We have to concentrate on love, and we're gonna have to remove the financial parts of this. We're gonna have to. Women, in particular, you're gonna have to, because if we're gonna go to this great makeup, I don't know what to tell y'all. You don't need us in that aspect anymore, and so we're gonna have to redefine how a man plays his part in your life. And in order for that to happen, we can't give mixed signals on, I'm independent, but I need you to have your own money too, boo. Like, we're throwing out, like, that whole, it's gotta change.
We get it.
So if we're gonna move forward, and if we being real about this great makeup, messaging in that space has got to change, and we gotta be serious. Y'all gotta be serious about it. So
like a makeover. I don't know.
I agree with that 100%, but I will just also say, in the ladies' defense, there's got to be some changes and some messaging around how men are moving. Men need to move with integrity. They need to hold themselves and each other accountable and be men.
But and that's what I'm talking about. What is you're saying be men? We're gonna have to redefine, what does that mean to you? Because being a man at one point meant bringing home the bacon and you cooking it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? That's not the case anymore.
I'm talking about character and morals.
I know you are. I know you are. what I'm saying is that there's if we're going to talk about that, there's things that we're going to have to look at wholesale. We're going to have to look at the whole list and say, oh, we're keeping this one character. We're keeping security, but we need to redefine some of the things under security. We're keeping loving. We're keeping, like, there's certain characters we're keeping, then the other things that have to be redefined.
So we
And some of those
revising our
things,
list. We revising our list. That's next week's topic. Revise your list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are y'all good with that?
I'm good.
I'm down with revising my list because I always really had the black man's back. Y'all be pissing me off, but I really, at the end of the day, if shit pop off, I am going to be there, 100%, no hesitation. But also, we got to support each other, okay? And we can't. The great black breakup is done with. It's the great black makeup now.
All right, I'm with it. That's the title of next week's joint. Great breakup to great makeup. A true black love story.
Let's save the culture, y'all.
Let's do it.
Listen, thank you all. Tiffany, always a pleasure. Eddie, you know what it is, my boy. To my beautiful co-host, appreciate you. To the Tip for Tat Nation, thanks for tapping in. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for the beautiful comment. And always at the Tip for Tat podcast, you know, we always bring the spice, but we always keep it nice. Y'all have a great night. Holla!
Go Cats!
God bless y'all.